If you were looking at this face and listening to this voice, you were officially tuned in to the best kept secret in sports talk. I'm your friendly neighborhood Smoke, and you are officially on the hot seat. Today we're gonna talk about Florida State. We're gonna talk to my Florida State brethren, my Florida State fan base. I don't really have anything jotted down. I'm just winging it, going off the top of my head. Just want to talk about some things that I've seen over the last few weeks, and there's some shit I want to discuss. Some things I want to get off my chest. And listen, I know why you hit that play button, baby. You come for the gospel. God damn it, I'm gonna give it to you. Ding ding, class and in session. So without any further ado, paying homage to the goats to my left and my right, let's go ahead and dive into it, man. So finally, the season is officially over. Florida State 2020 season is officially in the bag. I think they call it season zero or some shit. I don't know. It's not a lot to digest if you kept up with the program over the last few years, and I say it's not a lot to digest because some of this shit should have been not some of this shit. A lot of this shit should have been expected. I think Florida State finished 3-6, very unimpressive. Not going to spend a lot of time talking about the season. We can probably have a season review on another show. I'm going to talk about some things that has happened recently, a chain of events has happened recently. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you know Florida State went out and signed McKenzie Milton, former UCF quarterback. And, guys, that's a pretty big fucking deal. The importance of McKenzie Milton should not be understated. He's injected a certain level of life and excitement into the fan base. And the people who are in the know understand why. McKenzie Milton could very well be the bridge to what Florida State needs. McKenzie Milton is probably two. He's the best quarterback Florida State has had in over half a decade. He's the best quarterback Florida State has had since Jameis Winston. He's probably the last good quarterback Florida State has had since Jameis Winston. And I don't really know about his health. I've heard the same things you all have heard. Any contact or source I may have told me the same thing that I've read and seen in the media. If he's decent, if he's in good shape, if his health is anywhere near serviceable, this is big. This is really big. Florida State's number one and number two job should be in this order. Go out and find some guys who can block for him and go out and find some guys who can catch the football for them. Whether they're already on the roster or not, it's your job now to go out there and make sure you put the pieces around him to succeed. Back to my previous point about him being the bridge. So here's what I mean by that. Me personally, if you are a fan of this channel and you've heard me talk over the last few months, probably the last calendar year, you know I think that there are two things that Florida State needs to get this program back on the road to prosperity. The first thing is buy-in and competency from the admin and the boosters. The second thing is recruiting. Those two things will get Florida State back to where they need. And here's why I say McKenzie Milton can very well be the bridge. If the program is still the program, if the standard is still the standard, if the logo is still the logo, all Florida State has to do next year is look decent. I'm not saying they got to go out there and win no goddamn national championship. I'm not saying they need to go out there and compete for a conference title. I'm saying Florida State needs to look decent. Decent is 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, things of that nature. Things to get the cog churning, something that you can sell to a potential recruit as it relates to, hey, listen, look at the product we're putting out in the field. We're making traction. This too can be you. When you see a certain receiver flourish in the system, it's easier for you to go out to a wide receiver recruit and say, hey, listen, this too can be you. When you see how much Mike Norvell would like to run the ball effectively and efficiently in the flow of an offense, you can go to a high 4-star or 5-star running back and say, hey, listen, this too can be you. Those quarterbacks that we love to argue over whether or not they're any goddamn good, if they have a right ranking or a low ranking or a high ranking or whatever the case may be. Looking at McKenzie Milton, because there's been a lot of press and a lot of question about whether or not he's truly the type of quarterback Mike Norvell would like to have to run his offense. Let me put this shit to bed right now. If he's healthy, that's the exact type of quarterback Mike Norvell would want to run his offense effectively. To get the most out of what he wants to do offensively and schematically, that's the motherfucker he wants to run it. That's why this is such a big deal. That's why it's even more imperative that you go out and get the guys that can block for him. Because listen, him throwing from his ass ain't going to do nobody any bit of good. Him running around like a chicken with his head cut off, running for his fucking life on probably a bum leg, it's not going to do anybody good. Get some guys that can block for him, whether they're on the roster, whether they grad transfer, whether they JUCO transfer. Now it's time where the rubber meets the goddamn road. If he and that staff is as good at assessing players and I guess projecting their ceiling as they were told to us prior to this season, we're about to find out. Now it's time to where you earn your goddamn paycheck. The receivers, as I was just telling my partner here recently, it's funny how that was a strength of the football team, and now it's like, what the fuck happened? It's like a goddamn bomb hit that room. Well, you need to interject some type of life into it. That's done by getting more talent. And I'm not here to make any excuses. It's not going to be easy, but goddamn it, nobody made Mike Norvell a millionaire to not do his damn job, right? Not to get completely off topic or anything, but you'll see where I'm going with this. We are about to find out if Mike Norvell is truly the man for the job, because this is what this is what you're getting paid for. Everything that was said about you being an X's and O's guy, you being very, what was the word they used? Organized? Yeah. All that shit that they were saying about you, now we're about to find out. Because all of these things are going to come into play as it relates to you getting this team back on the right track. You've seen what you have to work with. Now it's time for you to make sugar out of shit. Good luck with that, because you have your work cut out for you. But McKenzie Milton, and, you know, as much shit as Mike Norvell takes from people like myself and whomever else throws him a load of crap, for him to get McKenzie Milton, number one, as quickly as he did, and number two, to sell him on the product that Florida State is, come on, guys, that's impressive. When it was said that McKenzie Milton initially wanted to go to a program that had national championship aspirations and had a solid offensive line, how he ended up at Florida State is beyond me. I have no fucking clue, because Florida State cannot offer him either of the two. But yet here he is. And if Dillingham and Norvell convinced him to come here, they deserve some kudos. If we're going to continue to bash those guys in public, we should praise those guys in public when they do something well. But transitioning quickly, I have to talk about the recruiting class. So the early signing period ended, this past Friday? Wednesday evening, when the dust settled, Florida State had the 31 ranked recruiting class in the country. We got Malik back on board from IMG, the wide receiver, explosive wide receiver. Jumped up to number 21 in the country, right? I think it was fourth in the ACC behind Clemson, North Carolina, and Miami. Not in that order. Okay, so more so Wednesday, but even Friday, that was a lot of shit I heard about the recruiting class. Fan base was pissed. They weren't willing to accept it. They were calling for heads to roll, because this just isn't Florida State. This just isn't what we've become accustomed to over the last 30 plus years. Did a show here a few weeks ago, or probably a few months ago, I'm sorry. And it was more so a discussion about, is the standard truly still the standard here, right? Does the logo still hold weight? I told you then, you may need to curb your expectations, because truthfully, right now, present moment, the standard isn't the standard. I don't know what the fuck you all expected to happen Wednesday and Friday. I don't know what the hell you thought you were going to see. I've told you before, in most cases, and I mean like in upwards to 90%, what you produce on the field usually reflects what you get in recruiting. They usually go hand in hand. You may be able to point out a time and two when, hey, listen, this goddamn team, did not perform well on the goddamn field, and they were great in recruiting for a year or two. Great, whatever. I'm not talking about any type of one-off or some type of anomaly. I'm sitting here telling you that in most cases, what you see on the field usually is what's produced in recruiting. Listen, there was a point in this season when it was being discussed that Florida State was probably the worst football team in Power 5. I know there were discussions had because I was one of the goddamn people having that discussion. If you, at one point in the season, are being talked about as the worst team in Power 5 football, what the fuck did you think was going to happen in recruiting? Anybody? I'm not waiting for no dramatic. There was no dramatic pause. I really want a fucking answer. Y'all saw the same goddamn football team I saw. There was a level of trash on that field that I have not seen as a Florida State fan in my entire life. There were times when we questioned the player's heart. There were times when we questioned the intellect of the coaches, their decision making. There were times when we even questioned the talent as a whole. Well, that's actually been questioned for the last 3 to 4 years. But it got poorer and poorer as the season went on. Understanding that there was a mass exodus of players, right? We can have a discussion at another time about why. But there also needs to be an infusion of talent. Listen, man, I don't give a good goddamn if Mike Norvell is the second coming of Bill Walsh. I don't give a shit about the X's and O's. If the Jimmy and Joes play like scalawags and hoes, you don't stand a snowball's chance in hell. You need talent. I am not removing that from the goddamn conversation. I am not letting him off the hook. What I am telling you is, wake the fuck up. There is no way in hell you can have an expectation higher than the 21st ranked recruiting class in the country. And what's more is, some of the schools you are comparing Florida State to as it relates to you see this school do this and you see this school do that. You look at the top 10 teams in the country. Well, let's look at the top 11. And I'm going off the top of my head. Like I told you, I don't have any notes. I didn't prepare for this. I just want to talk. I'm going, you're looking at Alabama, Oregon, Texas A&M, Ohio State, LSU, Oklahoma, Clemson, Miami, Florida. I'm forgetting a school or two. What do all those goddamn schools have in common? I'm going to tell you, they have at least 3 things in common. Y'all ready for them? Buy-in from the program, recent success, and stability. None of the 3 in which Florida State have at present moment. So if Florida State, not only do they not have those things, they have those things working against them. Florida State is so easily negatively recruited against, it's pitiful. You can't say you have stability at the head coach position when you just fired the previous coach after 21 games. You think recruiters aren't telling those kids that shit? Well, I'll go to Florida State. That coach only got a few more games under his belt, left under his belt. He won't be there very long. Buy-in from the program. They did an entire goddamn article about it on ESPN. Y'all know how the goddamn admin and booster is at Florida State. You already know. No need for me to dive into that shit any further than what we already have. Recent success. What recent success? Florida State fucking has none. So I'm asking you, as a recruit, and it's not even like Florida, of the 9, how many teams did I just name? 9? Of the 9 teams, or at least the top 10, 11 teams as it relates to recruit rankings in the country, I don't even know if Florida State is competing with those schools for the kids that they're getting and the kids that they got. There may be a handful of kids out of that class that Florida State had to beat out one of those 9 to 11 teams I named. Maybe. They're not even competing. Like you have to understand that they're winning recruiting battles against schools that shouldn't even be mentioned in the same breath as Florida State historically. If that isn't an example, or if that isn't proof that you need that the standard isn't the standard right now, I don't know what else to tell you. You living in la la land. You need to bring your ass back down to reality land. This is what it is. The man has his work cut out for him, which is why I didn't think he should have been in coach in the first goddamn place. I'm not finna have this goddamn conversation right now. I've had it enough. But this is why I said we needed somebody with leverage. But that's for another conversation for another day. I'm just saying some of you all need to check yourselves. You act as if this is still Florida State. This was Florida State. It's not right now. I'm not saying it can't get back. I think there's a plan rolled out. Whether it gets fulfilled or not, shit, I don't fucking know. But right now, it's not. And some of you all are so, like, when I spoke about all the players leaving, some of you all just want to throw kids away, right? He want to leave, fuck him, let him go. No, this is Florida. You don't have that goddamn luxury right now. You can't just say, hey, kid, fuck off. Have you seen that goddamn roster? I'm on there somewhere. You can't just say, kid, leave, especially if the kid has some level of talent, because Florida State doesn't have a lot of it. The conversation should be, hey, don't leave, stay. I apologize. I was tripping. Don't go. That's what the goddamn conversation should be. Florida State isn't a, well, they are probably still a proud program. I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but you have to look at things in the proper perspective, and you have to add context to things. With all those players leaving, it would be fine if you had somebody to replace them with. Even during the season, we had nobody to replace them with. You saw the same shit I saw. This 4-star leaves, this 3-star leaves, this 4-star leaves, this 4-star leaves. There were times during the season where I saw players, and I can't tell you the last time this has happened to me. There were times during the season in which I saw players and I didn't recognize the number on the jersey. And I cover Florida State like I eat, sleep, and shit it, right? I watch all the games, all that other stuff. I read all the other stuff, whatever. I can't tell you the last time in which I didn't recognize a Florida State player. That happened a few times this season. And this is what a lot of people ask for, hey, let's go ahead and have the youth movement, and had the youth movement, the team start fucking up, and y'all start writing them kids off. What the hell would y'all think was going to happen? I told y'all then, watch what you ask for. You just might get it. The youth movement is you want that to happen gradually, not over fucking night. Because you still want to, at the very least look competitive, which Florida State did in some spurts until shit got off track, and then they looked like one of the worst teams in the country. Y'all gotta stop tripping. That's the best way I can put it. I don't. Y'all expectations exceed reality, and it's not gonna do you any good. Some of the shit I read that y'all say, man, is y'all say some outlandish shit. Y'all took this season hard, and I understand it because again, it's not something we're accustomed to, man. But you just really have to curb your expectations. You guys expect the assistant coaches to go out there and push gold on the kids. There's nothing golden about Florida State right now. I cannot imagine being a Florida State assistant coach or a position coach going into a kid's living room and sending text messages and making phone calls. I wouldn't know what the fuck to say. Besides, please come to Florida State. We're offering you playing time. Really? That's it, coach? Because this other school won 9 games last season. This other school, they won 10 games last season. This other school, they have a track record for putting kids into the league. And Florida State can't say none of that shit. You try it. You try calling the goddamn recruit. What would you sell? Well, recruiters recruit. Recruiters recruit when things are going well. Like, good recruiters are usually defined not just necessarily by what they get, but understanding what's around them when they get these kids, right? They don't just continue to pull miracles out of their ass. They usually have something to work with in the process. What the hell does Florida State have to work with? The kids who came here, be nice to them fucking kids. Be nice to them. Because I'm telling you, if I had a child and that child decided they wanted to go to Florida State, I'd feel I failed as a parent. There's no fucking way. I'm being honest, guys. I'm being honest. I love Florida State just like y'all, but realistically speaking, what the hell does the program have to sell? So the kids who did commit, the kids who did sign, I don't want to hear shit bad about them kids for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 years they here. I don't know how long they're going to be here, and I don't fucking care. Y'all leave them kids alone. Because when the program was shit, when the program was in the fucking dumps, they still committed. Y'all don't have a goddamn thing to say about them kids. If I see one of y'all on Twitter, on social media, fucking with them kids, I'm calling you out and I'm reporting your page as spam. I'm doing something. You leave them fucking kids alone, all of them, because they did not have to come to Florida State. And I'm pretty sure, not just by coaches, but probably by family members, they were probably told not to come to Florida State, but they did anyway. Leave those kids alone. That's all the time I'm giving you. That's all the time I got. I'm sleepy. Listen. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad, Happy Hanukkah, Coupe de Ville, and Suki Suki. I hope you all have a blessed and safe holiday. And listen, all jokes aside, listen to me. Be safe. Be careful. Continue to wear your mask. Continue to use hand sanitizer. Continue to wash your hands. Make sure you keep in touch with your family members during this season, because you know how it can get out there in these streets, man. Y'all be safe. But as always, I definitely appreciate your time. I appreciate you hitting the goddamn like button for me, the subscribe buttons for me. And of course, I appreciate you hitting that play button. But until next time, you are officially off the hot seat. Y'all be good.